Thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Karkic. A look at our top stories. Mixing it up. We are in that time of year where it's the shoulder seasons and we get rain mixed in with snow at times. Some days it's rain, some days it's snow. That just happens. Fog versus sunshine. The battle continues. And the Japanese tsunami anniversary. It is 4 years from the big 9.0 magnitude quake, which has still left hundreds of thousands of people displaced at this point. Cloud tops you can see right here. We've got a system moving on shore of BC. The rain has already started for the lower mainland. That will continue through the day, spilling over some cloud into northern Alberta. And for the maritime provinces, a little bit of rain for you this morning and more snow moving into Newfoundland. There is an extreme cold warning for Pond Inlet and Hall Beach. It feels closer to the -50s with the wind chill, so still cold air locked up in northern Canada. Also some cold air in Labrador and parts of Newfoundland. Here's a snowfall warning for you in Corner Brook, Stephenville. Wreckhouse winds picking up tonight with a westerly flow, gusts up to 100 kilometers an hour, and the southern Avalon also a wind warning for you. How much snow are we getting? Well, with the snowfall warning, we can see about 10 to 20 centimeters there up towards the northern Avalon Peninsula. The southern Avalon, however, a little less snow. This starts off as snow, changes over to rain, and we're seeing about 10 millimeters for the Avalon through the day today as temperatures rise up to 3 degrees in St. John's. Halifax will be 8, St. John's 7, Fredericton will be 8 degrees. By tomorrow, these temperatures look very different, and we have them for you. So we're going from that mild spring air to back to wind chills in the east for tomorrow. So don't get rid of those parkas yet. That could be a new world record. That's more than Halifax has seen this entire winter. Tuesday, a look at the snowfall on the ground in Ontario. Now we have what Nathan Coleman has coming up on the show.
Thanks.
If you're on March break, this is what you're leaving behind. Vancouver, rain today, 11 degrees for the daytime high, rain coming again on the weekend. Calgary will be nice 15 degrees, Toronto 7, and towards St. John's, Newfoundland, a messy mix of rain and snow getting up to 3 degrees. The island of the Bahamas, looks great. Nassau getting up to 29 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud. Georgetown will be 26, Freeport 29. If you're headed to Miami, perhaps it'll be 28 and nice and sunny as well. Quite the story. So be careful. Don't walk on the lakes this time of year because things have definitely warmed up. We've already passed the peak of the Great Lakes ice coverage, so we're now slowly starting to see it break up and the melt happen. Across the country right now, we're looking at that system already bringing rain into parts of Vancouver Island and Vancouver itself. We're going to see that cloud cover spill over into parts of the prairies. And for you in the maritime provinces, some light rain through Nova Scotia today, and we are going to get some snow continuing across the western shores of Newfoundland. Places like Corner Brook in a snowfall warning. We've got the Avalon Peninsula, snow changing over to rain, then back to snow overnight tonight as those winds pick up a very strong westerly flow with wreckhouse winds in place. Southern Avalon has some strong wind gusts as well into Thursday, and we're going to see a big cool down as well. Take a look at this snowfall warning here. Stephenville's included. We've got the northern peninsula east in a winter storm warning. That's indicative of the snow as well as the strong winds, and we also have parts of Quebec in the warning as well. And this is a look at the snowfall forecast, but note a little bit less here through the Avalon, of course, because you are getting that mixing. Cape Breton Island, we are seeing some snow changing over to rain, and this is a look at that rain. Not much, really, under 5 millimeters, but we'll see a bit of cloud cover clearing out for the afternoon and a bit of sunshine in parts of Nova Scotia today. In on the Rideau Canal, she needs a little bit of help, but I'm sure next season she'll get back up on there. This morning towards the east, we've got Montreal sitting at 5 degrees. We'll see some sunshine for you. But yeah, a little bit of rain here this morning. That clears out by the afternoon. St. John's, Newfoundland will be -9 this morning. And looking at Toronto, 2 degrees. Thanks for joining us, Nicole and Chris with you. A look at our daytime highs across the country. Iqaluit, -29, Chris.
Yeah, still a lot of cold air. 15 in Calgary is the forecast. Need the umbrellas in Vancouver. We've got rain. Toronto, some sun today, something you were missing yesterday. And Halifax, rain this morning. This is your warmest day of the week. We should see some sunny breaks today.
And sunny breaks, of course, but then a big rapid cool down comes for tomorrow.
Yeah, and so a lot of that standing water may turn ice. And believe it or not, St. John's, potentially the 2 coldest mornings this winter are still ahead of you. Oh, wow. My goodness. All right, so we've got a system moving across Newfoundland. The heaviest snow will be higher elevations in northern peninsula, rough travel, lots of blowing snow, lesser amounts towards the Avalon because snow will change to rain.
And that's about 10 to 20 millimeters for parts of the Burin, southern Avalon as well. Less rain here moving through the maritime provinces, really under 5 millimeters. But note tonight, Chris, the winds are really going to pick up. Port aux Basques, we have a wind warning for you with gusts up to 100 kilometers an hour, and that's a nice westerly flow. Yeah,
now there's a lot of ice out there, of course, whether it's from the Strait of Belle Isle to Cabot Strait, so the wind will help to break apart some of the ice, but the other caveat would be is that it could push some of that towards the coastline.
That's right.
You know, you didn't really have a big freeze-thaw cycle. It was a freeze cycle through February, so that might mean lesser potholes. However, freeze-thaw cycle in full swing now. All right, so let's talk about temperatures yesterday. Our forecast for Toronto was between 7 and 9 degrees, but it was the fog that was lingering around. And much of southern Ontario was a little below forecast, but still above seasonal.
And in the north, Chris, it was a lot warmer. We didn't have that cloud cover or fog. Thunder Bay got up to 10.9 degrees. Today will be a different story. And a nice explainer here. We had those easterly winds coming off of the lake. Also, that system stateside kept our temperatures a little bit lower towards Toronto, Windsor. But yeah, Thunder Bay and Ottawa, you were warmer with the sunshine. And sunshine today across southern Ontario, Chris.
Yeah, fog this morning from Windsor to Kingston. That should start to mix out. And then through the day today, base sunny breaks. And then tomorrow back to seasonal temperatures, meaning cooler air.
All right, stay with us. We've got a look at the flood forecast in Ontario. Thanks for joining us. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic. Our developing stories, mixing it up. It's spring, so we're going to see the rain changing over to snow. Well, spring is 9 days away, but we're getting there. Fog versus sunshine. The battle continues, and the Japanese tsunami anniversary. We'll take a look at 4 years later how things are shaping up across there. Checking in with Kelly Noseworthy right now, who's joining us in southern Ontario. I know, Kelly, you're going to talk coming up on the program about the flood concerns we have as we lead into spring. All right, thanks so much, Kelly. And another day today in southern Ontario where temperatures will be above the freezing mark, so that melt is slowly happening. The good news is it's not happening too rapidly. We're not up to 15 degrees. You're dealing with that in southern Alberta again today, but you haven't seen much snow, have you? BC, rain on shore right now. We've got some light rain across Nova Scotia. Cape Breton Island seeing a bit of mixing, and Newfoundland snow for you. Pond Inlet, Hall Beach feeling closer to the minus 50s with the wind chill, so there's extreme cold warning in place there. And for Newfoundland, we've got the western shores under a snowfall warning. Stephenville's included. Northern Avalon Peninsula is under a winter storm warning. So that's indicative of the strong winds, which are really picking up tonight, as well as the snowfall. Wreckhouse winds. Southern Avalon has some strong winds. And Blanc-Sablon in Quebec is under a snowfall warning. This afternoon, temperatures rising up really nicely here. Halifax getting up to 8 degrees. St. John's, Newfoundland will be 3 degrees. So that snow is changing over to rain later in the day. Thursday afternoon, though, a completely different story. We're going to see the wraparound effect with the winds funneling in some cooler air with a bit of a northerly flow. So wind chills will be an issue tomorrow afternoon. So keep the hats and the gloves not too far away today. There's that snow moving into Thursday morning. Less in the Avalon, of course. A little bit mixing here in Sydney. Now, next week, we'll be looking at March break for you in Nova Scotia. Nathan Coleman has some ideas on what to do. Our snowfall, and that is more snow than you've seen all winter in places like Halifax, more than you've seen in Toronto, of course. The snow on the ground is indicated here, so we still have some melt to go, a little bit more in the north where we see 30 centimeters or above. This afternoon, some melting will happen. 7 degrees in Toronto. London will be 5. Ottawa will be +5 with a mix of sun and clouds. Time for Share Your Weather. People are tweeting me their photos and videos of weather in their area to @Nicole Karkic, and then we get to show their pictures and video on TV, and you get a personalized forecast. So, lucky person today, Lee Play sent this to me yesterday from Richmond, British Columbia. You can see the beautiful fog off in the distance. It did clear out by the afternoon hours. Well, for today, Lee, in the afternoon, we're going to be looking at a high of 11 degrees. The rain has already started to move on shore for the lower mainland. Richmond today seeing about 10 to 20 millimeters of rain. We're going to see winds sustained at 20 kilometers an hour out of the southwest. Thursday, rain starts to clear out for Friday. 13 degrees for that daytime high, and a lot more rain coming into Richmond, Vancouver, across the lower mainland for Saturday, with about 20 to 30 millimeters of rain in the forecast for you then. This afternoon across the country, Calgary will be nice 15 degrees. degrees. As we look to the east, St. John's, Newfoundland, a messy rain-snow mix, 3 degrees, some strong winds, and Ottawa will be 5.
You make sure you stick around. We've got more coming up here.
All right, thanks so much, Kelly. We'll certainly check in with her again to find more about flood prevention in Ontario. For this afternoon, Calgary 15 degrees, Winnipeg +1 towards the east. Temperatures nice and mild this afternoon in places like Halifax. That rain is going to clear out and we're going to see some sunshine as well. St. John's 3 degrees with a messy mix of rain and snow. Now, Tuesday's highs, pretty interesting across Ontario. Depending where you were, Toronto got up to 5 degrees. We did see some fog as well as some easterly winds and cloud cover, so those kept our temperatures down a bit. Towards Ottawa, a bit more sunshine and 8, and Thunder Bay got up to a nice 11 degrees. Now for this afternoon, we're going to be sitting above the freezing mark again. Even for this morning, Toronto 2 degrees. A lot more sunshine though coming through southern Ontario. You'll see that sun again in Ottawa at 3 degrees. North Bay will be -1. And for the afternoon in the east, we've got that rain starting to clear out, but this morning still some rain. No rain in Montreal to start the day. You're sitting at 5 degrees. 10 times above normal in some areas because of that event. Across the country here, we've got some rain moving into BC. It already started a few hours ago in places like Vancouver, and we will see this system bringing a lot of snow into parts of Newfoundland. In fact, you have a snowfall warning in place for Corner Brook, Stephenville as well. Wreckhouse winds picking up tonight with a westerly flow, gusts up to 100 kilometers an hour, and Blanc-Sablon in a snowfall warning for you. Thanks for joining us. Our top stories for Canada. Mixing it up, we've got rain and snow. We're transitioning into spring, so that's bound to happen.
Absolutely.
Fog versus sunshine, the battle continues, and it's been 4 years since the 9.0 magnitude quake struck Japan and has left hundreds of thousands still displaced.
Oh, those images, we will never forget them. All right, so our current systems, we've got a couple of systems merging towards Atlantic Canada, and this is going to bring a fair amount of snow across Newfoundland, some strong winds. The fog and the cloudy skies that really thwarted the temperatures yesterday in many parts of southern Ontario. That's starting to mix out, so we should see a better day. Do want to mention, though, northern Ontario, after those very warm temperatures yesterday, Nicole, 10s and 11s and some melting snow. It's sub-zero this morning. Watch for some ice patches.
Oh, that's a good point.
Okay.
And it's chilly in the north. Pond Inlet, Hall Beach, extreme cold warnings in place, so could feel closer to the -50s. And Iqaluit right now, Chris.
I was just checking that out. Iqaluit feels like -51 with the wind chill as well, so very, very cold.
And we have these warnings in place, so snowfall warnings on the western shores, Corner Brook, Stephenville, Northern Peninsula East. That's a winter storm warning, so indicative of the winds, which really pick up tonight, Chris, with a westerly flow, gusts up to 100 kilometers an hour for the Wreckhouse.
Big story in Newfoundland, of course, is that trapped ferry, and the Terry Fox icebreaker is hopefully going to be able to free that. People have been waiting for this ferry for over a week, so running out of medication, running out of money, running out of patience.
Oh, well, hopefully it's going to help today. We're going to see a little bit of a warm-up in the Maritimes, at least. Snow on the ground. Anything on this legend that's this whitish color sees the most. But down towards Toronto, Barrie, we've got the 5 to 15 centimeter range to melt, and it will be melting this afternoon. Yeah, lots of new puddles again. Clear those storm drains. Let the snow melt. Let it go somewhere. 5 from Ottawa to 8 to Windsor. Again, just watch the fog this morning. Northern areas of Ontario, a lot cooler today. And again, with sub-zero mornings, that means some icy patches as a result of yesterday's melting snow. And be careful. Don't walk on the ice. We've got 41% ice coverage on Lake Ontario. Total ice coverage has slowly gone down each and every day this week. Our must-see video is a lesson. This story coming up in Force of Nature. If you're on March break, this is what you're leaving behind. Vancouver, rain today, 11 degrees for the daytime high. Rain coming again on the weekend. Calgary will be nice 15 degrees. Toronto 7. And towards St. John's, Newfoundland, a messy mix of rain and snow getting up to 3 degrees. The island of the Bahamas, looks great. And Nassau getting up to 29 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud. Georgetown will be 26. Freeport 29. If you're headed to Miami, perhaps, it'll be 28 and nice and sunny as well. Thanks for the information. Today across the country, it's going to be mild again through parts of southern Ontario, so some melt continues. Milder in the east as well, so we are going to be seeing more melting in the Maritime provinces. Be careful of those big icicles that are on the top of buildings. They can fall today, especially in the east. But we do have some snow moving into Atlantic Canada at this point. Snowfall warnings in place for places like Corner Brook. Now, Tuesday, the highs, really interesting. It really depended on where you were. Toronto saw a high of 5, so did Windsor. That's because some fog moved in. We did see some cloud cover in those easterly winds, but over towards Ottawa, you were 8. Thunder Bay got up to a nice 11 degrees. Now, this afternoon, we're going to see a lot more sunshine here down to Windsor and London, so temperatures a few degrees warmer than yesterday. It'll feel a lot warmer with those westerly winds as well. Ottawa, you'll be +5, and the Rideau Canal shut down yesterday, so that was a 59-day streak of being open. This afternoon, we're going to see some rain in Sherbrooke, Halifax. You're going to be 8 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud 4 years ago today. Now, looking at the cloud tops across the country, we do have rain in BC that's already started for the lower mainland. That will continue through the day. Starts to peter out tomorrow. And for the east, there's some rain in the Maritime provinces. That's not our big concern. The big concern is in Newfoundland for these strong winds picking up tonight for the Wreck House area, Cape Race as well in a wind warning. Westerly winds will be up to 100 kilometers an hour. There's the snowfall warning. Blanc-Sablon in a snowfall warning as well and blowing snow advisory. So this morning there's that snow making its way through. Snow starts in the Avalon for the afternoon, but it quickly changes over to rain as temperatures start to rise. And then in the wake of that system, some northerly winds setting in. So tomorrow, much cooler than today. Through to Thursday, that's a look at your snowfall forecast. We take a look now at an important lesson to learn about not walking on the lakes. Thanks so much, Kelly. And our top stories that we're following is a mix of rain and snow. Fog versus sunshine. The battle continues, and it's been 4 years since the devastating tsunami struck Japan.
My goodness. All right, a little closer to home, we take a look at the cloud tops and show you the system here skirting to the south of Ontario, and another one moving in from Quebec is going to converge and towards Newfoundland. So it's winter storm headed your way. And look at this big low right here. I'm just going to step off screen so you can get the full depth of this storm system. Going to unload a fair amount of rain into BC with higher elevations like Whistler, snow.
I know, some snow into tomorrow. You've got March break in British Columbia, so maybe some people doing a staycation. Perhaps. You can go skiing. Pond Inlet to Hall Beach, extreme cold warnings in place, feeling closer to the -50s with the wind chill. So just a few minutes out there, you've got frostbite.
Yeah, Calloway also, wind chill's been around -50 this morning, so no warning for you, but very, very cold. Okay, so this is what's coming. The heaviest snow will be today, the strongest winds will be tonight, and we've got snowfall warnings essentially from St. George's right towards the northern peninsula, where we also have strong winds going to blow. So
in the Maritime provinces today, we're going to see a big rise in your temperatures. Also a rise in temperatures in Ontario, so a lot of ice falling from buildings.
Well, we're showing you Ottawa, 3 degrees this morning, 5 this afternoon, and we've had similar reports there. It's one of the caveats, I guess, of the warming temperature. So you got to look above. I'd almost say, Nicole, don't walk on the inside of the sidewalk because, you know, where the overhangs are. But if you walk on the outside, you're going to be vulnerable to cars driving by, giving you the spray from the puddles that are. So it's a Murphy's Law kind of day.
It is. You can't win out
go.
there.
All right.
And towards the east this afternoon, Halifax will be 8 degrees. We've got Nova Scotia on March break next week. Nathan Coleman has a few ideas on what to do. Certainly is cooling down. As you can see here, tomorrow afternoon we'll be feeling like -9 in Halifax, -14 in Charlottetown, and the snow piling up in Newfoundland through today. The winds picking up this afternoon, so some blowing snow advisories. Thanks, Kelly. This afternoon, temperatures are going to be on the rise. Even this morning, temperatures above the freezing mark with some sunshine coming through. There is a bit of fog, though, from Windsor over towards Kingston, so that's a 600-kilometer stretch up towards Cottage Country, but that will clear out as we head into the afternoon. Thanks for joining us, Nicole and Chris, with you with our top stories in Canada. Mixing it up, we've got some rain mixing in with snow. It's just indicative of the time of year. Fog versus sunshine, and the Japanese tsunami anniversary, 4 years since the date.
I can't believe that. 4 years. Those images, you'll never forget that. Quick peek at this afternoon. Some temperatures. Most of the darker purples have retreated up towards the north. Winnipeg at 1 degree, probably your coolest day of the week, incidentally. And enjoy your warmth in the Maritimes, because I know it's rain now, but this afternoon some sun, because you're going to get a lot colder, and Newfoundland particularly is going to get a lot colder.
Especially into tomorrow. Now, looking at the Great Lakes ice coverage right now, total ice coverage is 68%. So we're starting to see that decline over the last couple of days with the warm-up, of course. And clip takes us to this must-see video of one of the fisherman who was
fell
on the
through
water
ice
in Minnesota. He was driving on it, and the water completely was not frozen,
gave way,
and it gave way.
Absolutely. There you go. So we're in widespread company here that time of year where we're starting to see more and more of that.
All right, now this is really interesting. We were forecasting a little bit higher yesterday in Toronto, but what happened was we had a little bit more fog than anticipated. Those easterly winds kept us a bit cooler, but Ottawa got up to 8 degrees, and we will get warmer today, Chris, because that sunshine's coming through.
Yeah, and the wind has also changed direction. It's not that lake breeze any longer. It's more of a west-northwest wind. But keep in mind, having said that, this morning there is still some dense fog patches from Windsor off and on all the way out towards Kingston. So where the fog lingers, temperatures are going to be a little bit suppressed.
Exactly. So that'll just be this morning. This afternoon in Thunder Bay, 3 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. All right. Thanks so much, Kelly. And it's 10 times above normal still after that event. Glad you could join us today. Looking across the country, we do have rain in BC. So Vancouver's already started to see those showers. That will continue through the afternoon. Some cloud cover into northern Alberta. Could even see some cloud cover down towards Calgary. But yeah, mild air in southern Ontario, cooler in northern Ontario, though. So some reports at places like Timmins and Thunder Bay seeing some ice patches because yesterday was so mild, and milder in Atlantic Canada, particularly for the maritime provinces. But we have snow in Newfoundland. This afternoon, take a look at that. A lot more sunshine coming into Windsor up towards Toronto. This is for the afternoon, but a stretch from Windsor over towards Kingston, so over 600 kilometers, has a bit of fog this morning, and up towards Cottage Country, a bit of fog as well. Ottawa will be 5 degrees this afternoon, and a nice mild 8 in Halifax. After the rain clears out of Nova Scotia, we're going to be seeing some sun returning, but it's going to be messy in Newfoundland today. To get back up and move around, we've got more snow in Newfoundland for today, with even a snowfall warning in place for Corner Brook, 10 to 20 centimeters through to Thursday morning. A little bit less here for you in the Avalon. That's because snow starts and then changes over to rain as temperatures get above the freezing mark. So you know how it goes. It's going to be messy, kind of sloshy snow out there for you in the Avalon, plus the winds. A high of only 11 degrees because of that fog. We'll see 11 degrees for the high again today in Vancouver. And through to Thursday, about 15 to 30 millimeters of rain, a little bit more for Tofino, and then more rain does come for Saturday as we head into the weekend. So not much of a break. This is coming up on the program. Stay with us. Newfoundland and Labrador are seeing some of the most active weather across the country. We do have some snow for Corner Brook and Deer Lake through the day, 10 to 20 centimeters. Less snow in the Avalon Peninsula because that snow changes over to rain, and we're getting about 10 to 20 millimeters for the Burin and the southern Avalon. Plus, tonight the winds really pick up right across the shorelines for Newfoundland. Port aux Basques could see wind gusts up to 100 kilometers an hour. Across the maritime provinces, some light rain through to your Thursday morning, and a risk of freezing rain tonight in Alberta.
All right, thank you very much, Kelly. You know, it won't be long, and float your fanny down the canny, that May-long weekend thing they always do in Port Hope, so it should be nice.
They're saying they might not be able to do it. They might have to postpone it because of the conditions.
No.
Yes. Kelly was talking about that earlier.
That's not good.
I know, I know. You're depressed.
Well, I am. Mixing it up. Rain and snow, fog versus sunshine in parts of Ontario, and the Japanese tsunami anniversary. Unbelievable. 4 years ago. A little closer to home here this afternoon are temperatures. You'll note most of the purple, the dark, that's the cold air, is retreated to the north. At Calloway, by the way, this morning has been feeling like minus 50. Another warm day in southern Alberta. Rain returns to the west coast, so you'll need your umbrellas. And we've got some snow and rain and wind moving into Newfoundland. Yeah,
very messy. Yesterday, this is interesting. Easterly winds and some cloud cover and fog caused temperatures to be a few degrees colder in Toronto and Windsor than, say, Ottawa at 8. Thunder Bay got up to 11. But don't be worried. We're going to get a little bit warmer today in southern Ontario because the sun is returning. Yeah, the wind has flipped around from the breeze off Lake Ontario to more of a west-northwest. Keep in mind this morning around Windsor, around the Niagara region, around Trenton, Bay of Quinte area, Prince Edward County, still a lot of fog out there this morning, so watch the drive. Exactly. And this afternoon, Halifax getting up to 8 degrees, St. John's, you'll be 3, so that explains the messy mix coming through. But voila, look at Thursday. Keep those parkas handy because it's going to be a lot colder in the wake of that system. All right. What's coming in the long-range forecast? Well, these ice bars tightly packed together, so a blustery Thursday and Friday and cold across Newfoundland. And this could bring mainly rain in southern Ontario for your Saturday. Wet snow for Ottawa, potentially 5 centimeters. And
We're watching this one very closely for Nova Scotia Saturday night into Sunday, Nicole, because this could be some beefy snow.
Yeah, it's looking like a lot of snow in southern Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
We'll watch the track, of course. Winnipeg this morning, -3, winds sustained at 15 kilometers an hour. Regina, -2 for you. Stay with us. More coming up on the program. Talking about the country right now and the patterns setting up, there is some rain moving on shore right now for BC. It's raining on Vancouver Island, raining in Vancouver as well. Some cloud cover moving into northern Alberta, and overnight tonight there's a risk of freezing rain in places like Grand Prairie and north of Edmonton. Milder in the maritime provinces today, but there's a messy system over Newfoundland that's producing strong winds tonight and snow. This afternoon, a lot more sunshine from Windsor to Toronto. There's a bit of fog to start off the morning from Windsor to Kingston and up towards Cottage Country, but that clears out by the afternoon. And this afternoon in the Maritimes, we're going to see some sun in Halifax. Sherbrooke, some showers, but Montreal, a mix of sun and cloud, up to 5 for you. Take a look at St. John's. You're 3 degrees with a messy rain-snow mix, so snow changing over to rain. Stay with us. More on how long the mild temperatures will last in parts of southern Ontario. That's a nice live shot of Toronto. Stay with us.